Hello everyone, my name is Deeptendu Banerjee. Today we are going to start a series of Linux. We are going to start with Linux basics, and after that we are going to discuss on Linux system administration level 1, then level 2, and then level 3. So it is going a long time. It is going to be a long series, and today is the first day of that series. And we are going to start with Linux basics. But before we start with Linux basics, we have to know about the history of Linux. And before we start Linux history, we have to know about the history of Unix, that from where the multi-user, multitasking operating system came into the picture. So first we'll discuss about that, and then gradually we are going to move towards Linux. So first we are going to start with Unix history, and Unix is the first multi-user multitasking operating system. But when it was started, Unix was started in 1960s by AT&T and Bell Labs, and a group of scientists were there, that is Ken Thompson, Dennis Ritchie, and others. So initially, Unix was developed in it was multitasking and multi-user operating system. And initially, it was written in assembly language programming, but gradually it is moved towards high level, or it is rewritten in high level language. And that language today is popular by the name of C. So Dennis Ritchie developed C, and using C, he rewritten the Unix operating system. So in 1970s and 80s, that was the era of Unix, and Unix was developed and distributed among many different vendors. So we have got different standard of Unix like BSD Unix, that is Barclay Faber of Unix, and then we have got System V or System 5 Unix. Sun Microsystem developed their Solaris operating system. Now Solaris is owned by Oracle because Sun Microsystem is acquired by Oracle now. And there are many different flavors of Unix, like IBM developed AIX, that is still there in the market. HP developed HP UX. So these are the different flavors of Unix. Now it was going on, and till early 90s, it was very much in, or very much popular in the market. But the main problem of Unix was proprietary. Proprietary means for different Unix operating system, different hardware was required. Like different vendor, they developed their Unix operating system for their own hardware. Like IBM developed AIX for their power servers. HP developed HP UX for their server. Sun Microsystem developed Unix or Solaris for their own server. So at that point of time, in 1990s, early 90s, Mr. Linus Torvald, he is a scholar of Finland. So he thought that you are using Unix in different government sectors or government organizations in universities. But if I want to use Unix like operating system in PC, that is in Intel platform, then how we can do it? So he developed one kernel. Kernel is the heart of the operating system, and he uh, left that kernel in kernel.org. That is a site, kernel.org, and we'll visit that site and we'll see that where the kernels are stored. And he invited people across the world that if you want to contribute, you can contribute in this community. And we got an open source community, and Linux is an open source community operating system. So anybody can, who knows how to build the kernel, how to develop the kernel, how to enhance the kernel, they can download that core kernel and they can enhance that. So nowadays, you can see that we have got hundreds of Linux operating systems, and the most popular Linux operating systems are like Red Hat Linux, SUSE Linux, Debian Linux, Ubuntu Linux, Ubuntu, Debian. These are mainly used in test environments, and Debian's user interface is also very powerful. Red Hat Enterprise Linux is one of the most popular Linux and widely used Linux operating system. SUSE Linux is there, SUSE, SUSE Linux. So Linux gained popularity due to its open source nature and community driven development. It has got a huge community. Linux distributions like Ubuntu, Red Hat, Debian, and there are so many Linux, Kali Linux. Then Linux uh, has got so many features, like it is strong in security. Okay, we can build Linux in different layers. We can use Linux in mobile devices. So there are so many features in Linux, and many new softwares are emerged on top of the Linux. So Unix distribution or Unix flavors, if we see, then there are AT&T Unix, BSD standard Unix like Barclay Unix, System 5. So System 5 release 4 was the first official version of the Unix for public. Okay, and that we got in early 90s. So that is about Unix. And Linux, already we have discussed, that is Linux was developed by Mr. Linus Torvalds in 1991. And he developed many other software, like another very popular software is Git, that is also developed by him. And he is the patron of Linux Foundation. So they organize so many different courses and certification, like Kubernetes, CNCF certification also they actually organize. So Mr. Linus Torvalds, he developed it as a hobby project while studying at University of Helsinki. Now, Linus wanted to create a free and open source alternative because Unix was proprietary, and he wanted to develop one Unix-like operating system which is not proprietary. Anybody can use that. Okay. So we can download, nowadays we can download Linux, any flavor of Linux we can download and install in our laptop or desktop. But if you want to use AIX kind of operating system, which is Unix operating system, you have to have power servers, IBM power servers or that kind of servers. Okay. So that is the main motto of Linux. Now, Linux is a prime example of open source software. Open source means the source code is freely available for anyone to view, modify, and distribute. Linux open source nature has led to the large and active community of developers worldwide. Collaborative development on Linux takes place through the Linux kernel, mailing list, and other platforms. So there is a website called kernel.org. If you go to that website, you can see a lot of Linux or latest Linux kernel. What is the latest version that you can see, latest release number of the kernel that you can see, and all the old kernel also you can see. So kernel.org is the site, and this site is still managed by Mr. Linus Torvald and many other people. So kernel.org is the website of the Linux kernel. It serves as a central repository of the Linux kernel source code. Okay. Now, what are the main advantages of Linux? Stability. Linux is known as for its stability and reliability, making it suitable for critical applications. Security. Linux benefits from strong security features. So from file level to directory service level, we have got various different kind of security features in Linux. Then customization. Users can customize Linux to suit their needs. Like I can install Linux as a desktop operating system, and I can install Linux as a server operating system. So based on my need, I can install Linux as a database server. I can install Linux as a web server. So based on my need, I can customize Linux. And cost efficiency. Linux is cost effective, and for testing purpose or development purpose, you don't have to buy Linux. It is absolutely free. But if you want post sales support, or if you want to get some continuous support from the customer care or support team, then you have to buy the license. Otherwise, Linux, even nowadays, enterprise Red Hat, that is also freely available. They will give you some 2-3 months license. Okay. So you can download Linux, and for learning purpose, any Linux, SUSE Linux, then RHEL, then Fedora, Ubuntu, these are all freely available nowadays. Now, these are the distribution Ubuntu, known for its user-friendly approach, popular for desktop and server use. Then Red Hat Enterprise Linux, RHL. RHL is the most popular Linux, and it has got so many different certification, and RHEL has got a huge community. Okay, so RHEL, CentOS, Rocky Linux, these are all Fedora Linux, these are all in the same category. Like Ubuntu, Debian, they are in the same category. Debian, known for its commitment to free and open source software, serves as foundation for many other Linux distributions. So it serves as a foundation for many other Linux distributions. Arch Linux is also there, Fedora Linux is also there. So there are so many Linux available. Okay. Now layered architecture. If you discuss about Linux or Unix, there are different layers. So in the operating system, there are different layers. What are the different layers? The innermost layer is the kernel, which interact with the hardware. Okay. So on top of the hardware, we have to install the operating system. And once we install the operating system, the first thing what is mounted, or the first thing what is started, that is the kernel. Okay, kernel is the heart or core of the operating system. Then we have got shell. Shell is the outer layer. Outer layer means it is a layer which interacts with the user's application. So every user, suppose in one server, 100 users are logged in. Every user will have its own dedicated shell. Okay, so every user will have its own shell and they can customize the shell. But kernel, the whole operating system will have one kernel running. Okay, but if the user 100 users or thousands users, that many shell will be activated, or that many shell will be started. So shell is the interface with the user's application or user interface and the kernel, and kernel is the interface between the operating system and the hardware. Now we have got system libraries, the set of libraries that provide common features and services to applications. So these are the different layers of the operating system. Then we have got utilities. Unix is full of utilities. Like in the long run, we are going to discuss about the internal commands and external commands. So when we read when we understand internal commands and external command, you will see that internal commands are very less. External commands are many. And those external commands are basically utilities. And we are going to learn lots of utilities. Then user application. User may develop application, or user may use any third-party application. That application may be written, or that code may be Python code, Java code, or many other application codes. So user will be using the application, and that application will be passed, or the application will be passing the request through the shell to the kernel. So ultimately, kernel is the boss. So these are the different layers. Okay, and we are going to discuss kernel in detail, kernel shell, how to modify the kernel, what are the different parameters what we can modify, those we are going to discuss. Shell, we have got different type of shell. Normally, every Linux will have bash shell. Okay, that is a default shell. Bash shell means born again shell. That is a default shell. Sorry, but we may have Z shell, ZSH. So Z shell is the modern shell, and we have got many new features of that shell. And Corn shell also, we have got Corn shell. Initially, we used to have in AIX operating system, but if I want to customize, we can have Corn shell also. So there are different. C shell is also there. C shell is liked by the C programmers because it has got C-like syntax, C programming-like syntaxes. So these are the different layers. So what we discussed now, we discussed about the layers of the operating system, and we discussed about the history, Linux history, Unix history, who developed Unix, all those things we have discussed. And I hope you understood. And if you have got any doubt, any question, always you can write the question in the comment section, and definitely as fast as possible, I'll respond. So thank you for watching and stay tuned. There are the whole series is coming gradually one by one.